I'm Charlotte Sanchez, and tonight, the clink of crystal glasses in a Savannah riverfront restaurant feels like the sound of a dream coming true. The private dining room at the river's edge, with its oak-paneled walls and flickering candlelight, hums with the excitement of Peachtree Ventures investors. I've just secured an $8 million investment to take Sanchez's Handmade, my parents' small jam and preserve shop, to a national stage. The champagne sparkles in my glass, mirroring the pride swelling in my chest. 8 years ago, I walked away from a six-figure finance job in Atlanta to save a business 3 months from closing its doors. Everyone, my colleagues, my friends, even my brother Caleb, called me foolish. But I saw possibility in the recipes my grandmother taught me, in the jars of peach preserves and fig jam that carried our family's heart. "Charlotte, this is extraordinary," says James Carver, the lead investor, his deep Georgia drawl warm with admiration as he raises his glass. "From a little shop on Broughton Street to national distribution? That's a vision worth celebrating." I smile, my cheeks flushed from the champagne and the weight of his words. Across the table, my parents, Elizabeth and Thomas Sanchez, beam with a joy I haven't seen since before the hurricane nearly sank our shop. My mentor, Dr. Lillian Brooks, who connected me with James, nods approvingly. "I remember when Sanchez's Handmade was just a counter and a dream," she says, her eyes crinkling. "Charlotte, you've built something remarkable." Her words land like a balm on old wounds. 8 years of 18-hour days of pouring my savings into an e-commerce platform, of convincing national grocers to carry our artisanal preserves, it's all led to this moment. I glance at my parents, expecting to see their pride mirror mine. But my mother's smile falters, a shadow crossing her face as she leans toward me, her jasmine perfume wrapping around us like a memory. "Charlotte, darling," she whispers, her hand finding mine under the linen tablecloth, "this is all so exciting. But when Caleb comes back from his MBA program next month, he'll be the right fit to lead as CEO. You've laid such wonderful groundwork, but he's got the education for this scale." The words hit like a slap, though her voice is soft, almost tender. Caleb, my older brother, who's spent the last year polishing his resume in Chicago and Duke's MBA program, who hasn't set foot in the shop since he sent a single email suggesting we pivot to wholesale. 8 years of my life, skipped vacations, a second mortgage on my condo, nights sleeping on a cot in the stockroom, and she still sees me as the temporary help, holding the fort until Caleb claims his birthright. I keep my smile fixed, squeezing her hand back, but a cold knot forms in my stomach. "Of course, Mama," I murmur, my voice steady despite the storm inside. Across the table, James catches my eye, his brow furrowing slightly. "Everything all right, Charlotte?" he asks, his tone careful. "Absolutely perfect," I say, raising my glass higher, the champagne catching the light. But behind my smile, a plan is already forming. Monday morning can't come soon enough. I can still hear the disbelief in my boss's voice from 8 years ago, when I told him I was leaving my analyst job in Atlanta. "You're trading a corner office for jam?" he'd said, his incredulity echoing through the glass-walled conference room at First Trust Bank. Even Caleb, then finishing his undergrad in Chicago, had called me from some noisy bar to say, "Charlotte, it's a sinking ship. Let it go. Find Mama and Daddy something else." But I couldn't let it go. Sanchez's Handmade wasn't just a shop, it was my grandmother's legacy, her hands guiding mine as we stirred pots of simmering fruit in her kitchen, her stories of Savannah's orchards filling the air. When she passed, I promised her I'd keep her recipes alive, no matter the cost. That cost was steep. When I arrived back in Savannah, the shop was a ghost of itself, its shelves half empty after the hurricane flooded our storefront. My parents, Elizabeth and Thomas, were drowning in debt from a second location that never recovered. I sold my car, took a second mortgage on my condo, and moved into a cramped apartment above the shop to save on rent. By day, I worked the counter, charming customers with stories of our blackberry preserves. By night, I hunched over spreadsheets, renegotiating supplier contracts and teaching myself to code an e-commerce site. Those first 2 years were a blur of exhaustion. I sold the second shop to stop the bleeding, streamlined our recipes to cut costs, and convinced local farms to partner with us for fresher ingredients. Caleb would call occasionally, offering vague advice about scaling efficiently, but he was too busy climbing the corporate ladder in Chicago to help. My parents didn't seem to mind his absence, always quick to say he was gaining experience that would benefit the family one day. Meanwhile, I was the one keeping the lights on, turning grandmother's dream into something real. A food blogger's viral post about our lavender honey jam changed everything. I seized the moment, launching a subscription box that grew to 20,000 monthly customers. Last year, I landed deals with 3 national gourmet chains, boosting our revenue by 340%. But every milestone felt hollow when I saw my parents' eyes light up only when Caleb's name came up, as if my work was just a placeholder for his eventual return. The River's Edge dining room glows with the warmth of success, but my mother's words linger like a chill. As the investors discuss expansion plans, I've spent months crafting new production facilities in Atlanta, a broader online subscription model. James Carver's voice cuts through the chatter. "Charlotte, what's your vision for leadership as we scale?" he asks, his eyes sharp, sensing the undercurrent in the room. My mother stiffens beside me, her hand still gripping mine. I open my mouth to answer, but she jumps in, her voice bright with Southern charm. "Oh, Caleb's just finished his MBA at Duke," she says, as if it's the most natural thing in the world. "He'll be joining us next month, bringing his consulting expertise. He's always had the sharpest business mind in the family." I nearly choke on my champagne. I was a financial analyst for 5 years, restructuring failing companies before I ever touched Sanchez's handmade. I built this business from ashes, secured this investment with my own plans, yet in her mind, Caleb's 2 years in consulting and a shiny degree outshine everything. James exchanges a glance with Clara Monroe, another investor, their expressions unreadable but heavy with calculation. "Caleb's role hasn't been finalized," I say quickly, my voice calm despite the sting. "We're focused on closing this deal first." But my mother presses on, oblivious to the shift in the air. "Charlotte's done wonders with the creative side," she says, "but Caleb understands the financial big picture. He's perfect for CEO." The table falls quiet. James leans forward, his voice measured. "Mrs. Sanchez, our investment hinges on Charlotte's track record. Any leadership change would require discussion." My mother blinks, surprised, as if it never occurred to her that the investors might back me, not just the Sanchez name. My father clears his throat, smoothing things over. "We're all proud of Charlotte," he says, but his words feel like an afterthought. As dinner ends, James pulls me aside, his handshake firm. "We need to talk, Charlotte. Monday morning. Just you." I nod, my heart pounding with a mix of dread and determination. Outside, the Savannah River glints under the moonlight, and I know the real fight is just beginning. Sleep eludes me that night. By 5 a.m., I'm at Sanchez's Handmade, the shop's quiet darkness a stark contrast to last night's glittering dinner. The scent of sugar and fruit clings to the air as I spread spreadsheets and market analyses across my desk. Our head janitor, Amos, pauses his sweeping, concern creasing his face. "Miss Charlotte, you all right?" "After that big dinner, you're here at dawn." "Just prepping for a big meeting, Amos," I say, managing a smile. "Maybe the biggest yet." He shakes his head, muttering about me working too hard, but I'm already lost in my plans. My mother's words have cracked something open, a truth I've avoided for years. No matter what I achieve, Caleb will always be their chosen heir. I can't keep fighting for a place at a table that was never set for me. I call Dr. Lillian Brooks at 6:30, her groggy voice softening when she hears the urgency in mine. "Charlotte, what's wrong?" she asks. 40 minutes later, she's at the shop, 2 coffees in hand, her sharp eyes studying me as I pour out the story of the dinner. "You've seen this coming," she says, not a question. "What do you want, Charlotte?" The question stops me cold. Recognition? The CEO title I've earned? Or something bigger? "I want what's mine," I say finally. And I'm done pretending my family sees it. Lillian nods, her lips curling into a determined smile. "Then let's make a plan." By noon, I've drafted a proposal for a new company, one free of the Sanchez name, but built on everything I've created: our customer base, our supplier relationships, our brand story. I call Sarah, Marcus, and Lena, my core team, asking them to meet me urgently. They arrive without hesitation, their faces a mix of worry and trust. When I explain my plan to start anew if my parents won't budge, they don't flinch. "We're with you, Charlotte," Sarah says, her voice fierce. "This is your company, not theirs." Their loyalty, forged in late nights and lean years, feels like the family I've been chasing all along. The drive to my parents' house on Sunday evening feels like a march to battle. Their Savannah home, with its wide porch and magnolia trees, used to feel like a refuge. Now it's a stage for a reckoning. Inside, the living room smells of my mother's lavender candles, but the warmth is gone. Elizabeth sits ramrod straight, her hands folded, while Thomas slumps in his armchair, looking weary. "Mama, Daddy," I begin, my voice steadier than I feel. "We need to talk about the business." I lay it out, the 8 years I've poured into Sanchez's Handmade, the sacrifices, the successes. I've grown this company by 3,000%. I landed an $8 million deal. "But you still want Caleb as CEO. Why?" My mother's eyes widen, as if I've broken an unspoken rule by naming the truth. "Charlotte, Caleb's always been meant to lead," she says, her voice soft but firm. "He's the eldest, and his MBA. His MBA I paid for," I cut in, my voice rising despite myself. "While I was saving the shop, he was in Chicago or Europe, or wherever he felt like being. Where was he when I sold my condo to keep us afloat? When I worked the counter and built our website from scratch?" Thomas shifts, his face pained. "Charlotte, we're grateful, but Caleb brings fresh ideas. Maybe you could co-lead." "Co-lead?" I laugh, bitter and sharp. "I've run this alone for years. Why do I need a partner now, just because he's your son?" The words hang heavy, exposing the bias they've never admitted. "The investors back me, not the Sanchez name. If you can't see that, I'll walk away and take everything I've built with me." My mother gasps, her hand at her throat. "You'd abandon your grandmother's legacy?" she asks, voice trembling. "I'm protecting it," I say, my eyes burning. "You're the ones giving it away." I leave them in stunned silence, a childhood photo on the mantel, Caleb front and center, me half hidden, mocking me as I go. Monday morning dawns bright, the Savannah sun filtering through the shop's windows, but my stomach churns with nerves. I arrive at Sanchez's Handmade at 7:30, expecting a quiet hour to prepare for the investors' meeting. Instead, I find Sarah, Marcus, Lena, and a dozen other employees already there, their faces resolute. "What are y'all doing here?" I ask, my voice catching. Sarah steps forward, her eyes fierce. "We heard about the dinner, Charlotte. We're here to show you're not alone. Whatever happens today, we've got your back." Marcus nods, his chef's hands clasped tightly. "This is your company. We stay with you." Lena, usually reserved, adds, "We've seen what you've done. Nobody else could have pulled this off." Their words hit like a wave, washing away years of doubt. These people, my team, have been with me through midnight packing sessions, through the lean months when we barely made payroll. They're not just employees, they're the family I've built, the ones who see me. I blink back tears, managing a shaky "thank you." I don't know what to say. "You don't have to," Sarah says, squeezing my arm. "Just go in there and fight." I retreat to my office, their presence a steadying force as I review my notes one last time. The organizational charts I've prepared, one with me as CEO, another for a new company without the Sanchez name, feel like a lifeline, a way to claim what's mine. At 8:30, my parents arrive, Elizabeth in a crisp blazer, Thomas looking like he hasn't slept. At 8:45, Caleb strolls in, his tailored suit and easy grin announcing his return. He shakes hands with employees he barely knows, already acting like he owns the place. From my office, I watch my mother point out the shop's new displays, as if Caleb's been part of their creation. My resolve hardens. This isn't his story to claim, it's mine. The conference room at Sanchez's Handmade feels like a pressure cooker as the clock strikes 9 a.m. James Carver and his Peachtree Ventures team step off the elevator, joined by 2 lawyers, their briefcases signaling the gravity of the moment. My parents and Caleb sit across from them, tension radiating from their stiff postures. I take my place at the head of the table, my heart pounding, but my hands steady. James opens his briefcase, laying out documents with deliberate calm. Before we proceed, he says, his voice cutting through the silence, let's be clear, our investment is based on Charlotte's leadership. Her vision, her execution, her results. Our due diligence centered on her, not the Sanchez name. Caleb shifts, his confidence faltering. My mother's smile is brittle, her eyes darting to me. James continues, Friday's dinner raised concerns about leadership expectations. We've reassessed. He slides 2 folders toward my parents. You have 2 options. My father opens the first folder, his hands trembling. It outlines the original $8 million deal, with me as CEO for at least 5 years and Caleb in a non-executive role. The second folder, a $10 million investment in a new company, led by me, free of the Sanchez name, makes my mother gasp. What is this? She whispers. Insurance, I say, my voice calm but unyielding. In case you don't see what this company really is. Caleb snatches the second document, his face reddening. You'd betray your own family? He demands. I'm protecting what I built, I counter. Where were you, Caleb, when I was delivering orders myself? When I redesigned our brand while working the register? Before he can respond, the door opens. Sarah, Marcus, Lena, and 15 others file in, their presence a quiet thunder. If Charlotte goes, Sarah says, we go with her. All of us. The room erupts in whispers. My parents stare, stunned, as the truth lands. The company's heart is mine. After a long silence, my father pushes the first document forward. Charlotte stays as CEO, he says, defeated. My mother nods, her face pale. The fight is over, but the cost is heavy. 2 hours later, the papers are signed. The $8 million investment will move forward, with me as CEO and explicit protections for my leadership. Caleb is assigned as Vice President of Business Development, reporting to me, his role carefully defined to prevent overreach. My parents will step back, serving as brand ambassadors, their daily involvement reduced to ceremonial appearances. James and his team shake my hand, their confidence in me unwavering, but as they leave, the room feels hollow. My parents linger, Elizabeth's eyes avoiding mine, Thomas's face etched with regret. Charlotte, he starts, his voice soft, we didn't mean to hurt you. But the words feel like too little, too late. Caleb, silent since the meeting, gathers his things and leaves without a word, his tailored suit no longer a shield. I watch them go, feeling neither triumph nor relief, just a quiet ache. The employees who stood by me gather in the break room, their chatter a mix of relief and excitement. Sarah hugs me, her voice bright. We did it, Charlotte. This is yours. I smile, grateful, but my heart is heavy. I've won the company, but the family I fought for feels further away than ever. I excuse myself, retreating to my office, where the view of Savannah's Oakline streets offers no comfort. I think of the years I spent chasing my parents' approval, believing that one more milestone, another deal, another sales record, would make them see me. Now I know better. Their love for Caleb isn't about his merits. It's about a tradition I can't change, a story where I'm always the supporting character. The realization doesn't free me, it just hurts. But as I look at the photos on my desk, me with Sarah, Marcus, and Lena laughing during a late-night packing session, I feel a spark of something new. These are the people who chose me, who saw what I built and stood by it. Maybe that's enough. 6 months later, Sanchez's Handmade is a Southern success story. Our preserves line the shelves of gourmet stores from Charleston to Dallas, and our subscription box now boasts 30,000 monthly customers. New flavors, pecan praline jam, blueberry basil preserve, have exceeded sales goals by 40%, a testament to Lena's innovation and my vision. From the outside, we're the picture of family entrepreneurship, our ads featuring my parents' smiling faces as they tell the story of our Savannah roots. But inside, the truth is messier. I see my parents at quarterly board meetings and mandatory holiday dinners, where we exchange polite words over sweet tea and cornbread. Elizabeth's pride in Caleb still stings, though she's careful not to mention him as anything but the vice president he is. Thomas tries to bridge the gap, his gentle questions about my life met with my guarded replies. Caleb, confined to his role, keeps his distance, his charm dimmed by the reality of reporting to me. Our interactions are professional, clipped, like strangers sharing a name. The pain of their betrayal hasn't faded. It's a bruise I carry, tender but no longer crippling. I've stopped seeking their approval, a choice that feels like both loss and liberation. Instead, I find my anchor in the shop, where Sarah's laughter fills the break room, Marcus tweaks production schedules with a chef's precision, and Lena experiments with new recipes. They're my family now, bound not by blood but by shared sweat and belief in what we've built. Late at night, when the shop is quiet, I sit at my desk, the scent of peaches lingering from a test batch. I think of my grandmother, her hands steady as she taught me to seal a jar, her voice promising that love endures in what we create. I've kept that promise, not for my parents, but for myself. My worth isn't in their eyes, it's in the legacy I'm building, one jar at a time. The Savannah sun sets over the river, casting a golden glow through my office window as I type up the latest sales report. Sanchez's Handmade is thriving, a testament to 8 years of grit and the team that stood by me when my own family didn't. I think back to that Monday morning when Sarah, Marcus, Lena, and a dozen others filled the conference room, their loyalty a lifeline I hadn't known I needed. They saw what I'd built, not just a business, but a story of resilience, of turning my grandmother's recipes into something that feeds hearts as much as stomachs. The betrayal still lingers, a quiet ache in moments like these. I wanted my parents to see me, to choose me, the way they always chose Caleb. But standing in that meeting, watching my team choose me instead, I realized something. My worth isn't tied to their approval. It's in the late nights we spent packing orders, the joy of a customer's 5-star review, the trust in James Carver's handshake when he bet on me. It's in the jars of jam we ship across the country, each one carrying a piece of my grandmother's love and my own determination. I've learned that family isn't always blood. It's the people who show up, who fight for you when the stakes are high. My team is my family now, and together, we're writing a new chapter for Sanchez's Handmade, one where I lead not out of duty, but pride. I look at the photo on my desk, me and my team laughing under Savannah's oaks, and I know this is my true legacy. It's not the Sanchez name, it's the life I've built, the love I've poured into every jar, and the strength I found when I stopped chasing someone else's story. To everyone who's followed this journey, thank you. You've walked with me through heartbreak, hard-won victories, and the quiet moments of rebuilding. If my story stirred something in you, hit that subscribe button and join us. Every jar of Sanchez's Handmade tells a tale of grit, love, and new beginnings. Keep stirring your own truth, and I'll meet you at the table, where every meal is a chance to start again.